Bob writes about it. Jim talks about it. But Chuck did something about it.
Foreman on a big hole across the 10. He's something else. He's out in touchdown land. He's something else, baby.
Now, here's longtime columnist Bob Sansevier, Fox 9's Jim Rich, and the great number 44,
Double 4.
Chuck Foreman.
Welcome back to the JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, Justin Peterson, also joining us from Tires Plus Buffalo, and Tony Denucci, the founder of AWF Wrestling. Big show coming up in Buffalo. You heard about that last segment. Gentlemen, we're counting down the days to the start of training camp for the Minnesota Vikings. It's a team that really, I don't have a good feel on what we're going to see at the end of camp when week one rolls around. There are so many question marks. There's so many holes that this team is trying to fix on the fly. Chuck, what kind of feeling have you gotten from what you've seen either through the mini camps, the OTAs, the press conferences that we've heard from Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell?
Well, this is going to be their most challenging year, I think, no question about it. You know, he came in, he had that 13-3 season, boom, out of the playoffs. Quarterback's gone, but then, too, I mean, he put up good numbers, but we only won one playoff game, so he just went off and got $180 million. Well, I wouldn't have paid him $180 million either.
Right.
But anyway, I think what I'm feeling is the quarterbacks that we have, A.J. McCarthy, he's J.J. McCarthy.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Sam Darnold. Okay, J.J. McCarthy, you know, I think should be put out of the picture right now because he's played college. He's not anywhere near ready to play at the pro level. Sam Darnold, on the other hand, I think was the second player taken off the board when he came out. Unfortunately, when you get drafted that high, you go to the worst teams. No support whatsoever. He went from there, and then where did he go to? Carolina, and he had no team there. And then he went to
San Francisco just
as the backup. And I think at this particular time, what's his 5th or 6th year, he could be the guy that can, you know, come into his own at the right time. So there's a possibility of that happening. And then JJ can take his time. But I'm looking for a Sam Darnold to start to get it going. And I like Aaron Jones. Our wide receiver core is one of the best in the league. The only thing that I worry about is offensively is that up front line, the consistency of the front line. If they can get that together, they got a chance to compete in their conference for sure.
All right, Justin, you being, once again, the consumer of football and the consumer of Vikings football, how much patience is the fan base are you going to have with Sam Darnold? How quickly will we be hearing JJ at US Bank Stadium on the first 3 and out, Sam Darnold, week one?
You know, I think there'll be a decent amount of patience, but you know, you got a brand new shiny toy sitting there on the bench, and it might not take too long. But I'd say by the time you get quarter of the way through the season, and you kind of see what old Sam Darnold has an arm might bring to the table. If it's you know, a losing record by that point, might be time to put in the kid. So excited to see them both play.
You're always the mastermind, right? Working with these wrestlers and setting them on routes to success. How would you handle a youngster like McCarthy, who's been a winner everywhere he's gone? He obviously knows that this is his team eventually. How would you handle him going into a situation like this?
I mean, actions speak louder than words for me. And if who's ever in that starting position, if he's playing, that's great. And if he's not, he comes out, the other guy goes in. It's pretty simple. And with me, you know, it's the same in the wrestling. If the guy's getting paid and he's not performing, I give him a little bit of time. But if it doesn't work out, we put another guy in his place. And that's in any business you go to. That's life. That's any company. You know, a guy at Tires Plus, if he's not working out, you're going to replace him. Yeah. And with the money they're being paid, how much time do you give a guy?
Chuck, you look at the team. Mm-hmm. How does the coaching staff keep the team, especially the offense, all in one guy's corner when they see, whether it's McCarthy or Nick Mullins or whoever, Jaron Hall, they're throwing bullets in practice, and then we're trotting out this guy again this week. Well, how do you handle that when it's this vital a position? You need everybody to believe on Sunday when you walk on the field that you have the best guy under center that's on the roster.
Well, the first thing is in practice, they're gonna showcase their skill set, and when it's live in practice, and then we'll see how they react under pressure. But it's nothing like game pressure. Now, as far as the quarterbacks go, in my opinion now, it's the game at this level is much, much faster. Much, much faster. So can he dissect what he sees and be able to react to it? I think Sam Darnold got the edge on that. JJ, he's got to learn that. And for me, and the way I look at it, if you want to ruin a quarterback that you drafted number one, go on and put him in there with a team that doesn't have anything around him, and you can definitely ruin him too. So with what I'm saying with that, Sam Darnold's seen it all. So, and he has an opportunity to right all those, expectations he had coming out, and let's see where it goes. I think you don't be the number 2 player off the board and not have that skill set you need to be an NFL quarterback. You got to have guys around.
Yeah, and Chuck, this is more of a situation for Darnold. People don't realize that, like you kind of brought it up. This is his last kick at the can. He isn't like a Nick Mullins who knows he's a placeholder,
right,
that he's just biding time, knows that he doesn't have that next level to hit. Darnold thinks he does.
Oh.
So he's going to come in here and he says, McCarthy, you get over there. I'm the number one of this team. This is my time. I'm on a 1-year deal, making $10 million. If I crush it, I could be, who's the Tampa guy that crushed it last year that got paid?
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield that finally got it right and got paid.
And that was his 6th year.
Right.
5th or 6th. I don't know whichever it was, but I'm telling you, he might be the find of the whole offseason. If he comes in here and he's able to do what he's capable of doing, if that offensive line, without it, nobody's going to be anything. Whether it's the running game, the passing game. We talking about Darnold, we better be talking about that front line. If the front line gives him time, he's going to have the opportunity to make the plays.
All right, these guys have been together a couple of years. Bradbury, everybody is kind of on the fence about. Is that the one that you feel could be the guy that needs to step it up the most? Garrett in the middle?
From what we've seen in the past with him, he has a difficulty with those big guys. I mean, he's quick, he's fast, he's strong, but
it's when he's got to anchor himself, right?
When he's got to anchor himself, he has miscues. But, he seems to be the kind of guy that he knows what he's got to do, and I'm sure that in the offseason, he's trying to get himself in a position where he can improve. Because I like everything about him. He can run. He's the kind of guy you can pull as a center if you wanted to.
Right.
So that's a big thing. But that pressure up front, up the middle is where he's got to improve.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break here. Chuck, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tony, wonderful. Great to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Hope you have a stay out in Buffalo. And Justin, whatever.
Thoughts and prayers out to Vikings rookie Khyree Jackson, 4th-round pick, who was tragically lost in a car crash the other day. So just thoughts and prayers to the Vikings organization, his family, friends. Bad deal.
See, I mean, I can imagine
21-year-old kid, just a kid.
That phone call.
No.
I don't even want to think about it, but we certainly send prayers up.
Yeah, yep. Some of these guys, think they're invincible.
Right.
Right.
And he could have possibly started for the Vikings this year. He was definitely that kind of player. He's from Maryland, of course, up in Marlboro, not far from where I'm from. And just that whole to see the wreckage and everything, it was. I don't even want to even talk about it. It was that horrible.
Right, and it looked like it was going to be a really cool story because he was out of football, and he was actually working at a grocery store, and he was Employee of the Month, and he came home to his mom, and he said, got the certificate, he goes, well, I guess this is what I'm going to be. I found my calling. I'm Employee of the Month at this grocery store.
Right.
And then some buddies talked him to get back onto the field.
Right.
And you think about that, going from completely out of football to working yourself to the point where you're an NFL draft choice. Right. And like you said, have had a pretty good shot to be a starter in the National Football League.
Very good shot at it, and it's heartbreaking. So
yeah, it's difficult. All right, we will take a break. We'll be back with more after this.
On behalf of Vikings legend Chuck Foreman and Fox 9's Jim Rich, I'm Bob Sansevier, and I want to say thank you to all of our listeners and our radio partners, KXRA in Alexandria, KRWC in Buffalo, KDHL in Faribault and Owatonna, KDAL and WDSM in Duluth, WNMT in Hibbing, KTOE in Mankato, AM 660 The Bear, WBHR in St. Cloud, and Wild 102 FM in Roseau. Also, KWOA AM FM in Worthington, and KKBJ in Bemidji, and Bob Total Country serving the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and surrounding areas. We'll talk to you later.